As we grow older, our relationships with our children evolve, and sometimes small habits or well-intended phrases can unintentionally create distance between us. If you've ever wondered whether your connection with your children is as strong as it could be, you're not alone. The way we communicate and interact with our loved ones becomes even more important as we age. In today's video, we'll explore 10 crucial things to avoid saying or doing to ensure a healthy, loving relationship with your children and loved ones. These simple yet impactful strategies will help strengthen your bond, improve communication, and foster deeper emotional connections. Let's dive in and discover how small changes can lead to a more harmonious, loving relationship. 1. Don't compare your children to others. As parents, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparing our children to others, especially when we see the accomplishments of other kids. You may hear about your neighbor's child excelling in sports or your coworker's child getting into a prestigious college, and naturally, the thought may cross your mind. Why can't my child be more like that? It's a temptation that many parents face, and while it might come from a place of wanting the best for your child, comparison can have lasting negative consequences on their self-esteem and confidence. Every child is unique. They each have their own set of strengths, talents, and challenges. While one child might excel in academics, another might shine in the arts or demonstrate exceptional emotional intelligence. One child might be an athletic prodigy, while another might be an excellent problem solver or a compassionate friend. These differences are what make every child special in their own right. For example, maybe your daughter isn't a star athlete, but she might possess an extraordinary sense of empathy or an imaginative and creative mind. These traits may not always stand out immediately, but they are just as valuable as any measurable accomplishment. It's crucial that as parents, we focus on nurturing your child's strengths and interests rather than comparing them to others. Encourage them to pursue what excites them, even if it's different from the paths that others may take. Show genuine interest in their hobbies, goals, and passions. By being their biggest cheerleader, you can help them feel seen and valued for who they truly are, which significantly boosts their confidence. When children feel supported and accepted, they are more likely to embrace their strengths, navigate challenges, and grow into confident individuals. Instead of focusing on how your child compares to others, focus on who they are at the core and help them become the best version of themselves. This will create a nurturing environment in which they can thrive, free from the pressures of comparison. 2. Stop comparing their struggles to your own. As we grow older, we accumulate experiences and face challenges that shape our worldview. When our children go through difficult moments, it's easy to think back to our own struggles and compare them. Perhaps you remember the tough economic times you faced, the obstacles you encountered in building your career, or the hardships in your personal life. It might feel natural to think, well, when I was their age, I had it much harder. They should be able to handle this better. But while it's important to empathize with your child's struggles, it's equally important to acknowledge that the challenges they face are unique to their generation. Today's world presents a completely different set of challenges than the ones we faced growing up. For example, children today face an intensely competitive job market, skyrocketing student debt, and the unrelenting pressures of social media. They live in an age where digital communication is constant, and the line between work and personal life is often blurred, adding significant stress. These are pressures that previous generations never had to contend with, yet we may find ourselves downplaying them because they're not as familiar to us. When we compare our children's challenges to our own, it may inadvertently invalidate their feelings. It can create a disconnect, leaving them feeling like their struggles aren't understood or acknowledged. To truly help, it's important to take a step back and listen. Ask your child about what they're going through, listen with empathy, and try to understand their perspective. For example, instead of recounting how difficult it was for you to balance your career and family life, ask your child what challenges they face in managing their own commitments and stressors. This approach opens a dialogue based on mutual respect and understanding. By offering support without comparison, you help your child feel heard and validated. Sometimes, children don't need their parents to have all the answers. They just need someone who understands what they're experiencing. This kind of support helps them navigate their unique challenges with confidence and self-assurance. When you take the time to listen without judgment, you create an environment in which your child can feel safe, valued, and emotionally supported. 3. Don't keep bringing up their past failures. Failure is an inevitable part of life, and it plays an essential role in our growth and development. However, while it's important to acknowledge mistakes and learn from them, repeatedly bringing up your child's past failures can be incredibly damaging. Children are constantly learning and evolving, and as parents, we need to encourage resilience and growth rather than focusing on past missteps. Imagine how it would feel if someone constantly reminded you of a mistake you made years ago. Even if you had worked hard to improve and overcome that mistake, it would still be painful to have it brought up again and again. Now, think about how this might affect your child. When parents continue to bring up their child's past failures, it can reinforce feelings of inadequacy, shame, or embarrassment. It may make your child feel like they are defined by their mistakes, rather than their efforts and progress. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, shift the focus to what your child has learned from the experience and how much they've grown. Acknowledge their perseverance, resilience, and ability to bounce back from setbacks. Whether it's overcoming a challenging subject in school, learning a new skill, or simply refusing to give up during tough times, these actions should be celebrated. When parents praise the effort and the courage it took to face challenges head-on, it teaches children that failure is not the end, but a necessary stepping stone to growth. Every step forward, no matter how small, is an achievement in itself. By focusing on progress, not past mistakes, you encourage your child to develop emotional resilience and self-confidence. Children need to know that their worth is not defined by their failures, but by their ability to rise above them. This helps them develop a healthy relationship with failure, understanding that it is just another part of the learning process, not a mark of their inability or worth. 4. Avoid negative words. As parents, we sometimes feel the urge to express disapproval when we see our children making decisions we don't agree with. It can be difficult to watch them navigate through challenges and choose paths we don't understand. However, it's essential to be mindful of the words we use. Negative comments or criticism, even when well-meaning, can have a lasting impact on a child's self-esteem and sense of autonomy. Consider a scenario where your child makes a choice that you don't agree with, like choosing a career path you don't understand or entering into a relationship that you find concerning. It's easy to immediately express disapproval, but instead of focusing on what's wrong, try asking open-ended questions that show curiosity and understanding. For instance, you might say, "What excites you about this career? What do you think are the challenges you'll face?" These types of questions help foster a meaningful conversation where your child feels heard, respected, and understood, even if their choices differ from your own. Criticizing your child's decisions can often lead to feelings of judgment, leaving them feeling misunderstood or alienated. In contrast, when you approach their decisions with curiosity and empathy, you create an environment of trust and open dialogue. It's important to remember that their choices, while different from your own, are part of their growth process. They need the freedom to make mistakes and learn from them, and that starts with you offering support and guidance, not criticism. When you approach conversations with positivity and understanding, you bridge the generation gap and strengthen the bond between you and your child. The goal is not to control their decisions, but to guide them with wisdom and empathy, empowering them to make choices that align with their values and goals. This strengthens your relationship and helps them grow into confident, self-assured individuals. 5. Don't talk too much about your sacrifices as parents. Parenting often requires sacrifice, As parents, we may put aside our own dreams, desires, and ambitions for the sake of our children. We might sacrifice our time, energy, and even our careers to ensure that they have everything they need. While these sacrifices are made with love and the desire to give our children the best opportunities, talking about them too often can create unintended consequences. When you frequently bring up the sacrifices you've made for your children, it can place a heavy emotional burden on them. They may begin to feel guilty, as though they owe you something, even though that was never your intention. Constantly talking about your sacrifices may also create a sense of obligation, making your child feel that their success is tied to your sacrifices rather than their own efforts. This can lead to unnecessary pressure and guilt, hindering their ability to live freely and authentically. Instead of focusing on the sacrifices you've made, celebrate the joy you feel in seeing your child grow and thrive. Express how proud you are of their accomplishments, not because they repaid you for your sacrifices, but because they are becoming independent, capable, and resilient individuals. The love you show your children through your actions and support is the greatest gift you can give. When you focus on the joy of their journey and celebrate their successes, you empower them to embrace their own path without feeling burdened by guilt. Ultimately, your sacrifices don't need to be constantly vocalized to be meaningful. Your children will see your love and dedication in your actions, the time you've spent with them, and the guidance you've offered. These are the true expressions of your care. By shifting the focus from sacrifice to celebration, you create a healthier dynamic where your children feel empowered to live their own lives, free from guilt or pressure. 6. Don't say, "I can't do anything anymore." As we age, it's natural to experience changes in our physical abilities. We may slow down, have less energy, or feel like we can't do certain things the way we used to. However, repeatedly saying, "I can't do anything anymore," can have a negative impact on those around us, especially our children. Hearing this can make them feel sad or worried, as they may start to see us as frail or helpless, even though we still have a lot to offer. Instead of focusing on the things you can't do, try to shift your attention to what you can still do and the wisdom you've accumulated over the years. For example, while you may not be able to run a marathon or lift heavy objects like you once could, your emotional and mental strengths have grown over time. You've developed patience, perspective, and resilience, qualities that are incredibly valuable. Sharing stories from your past, offering guidance based on the lessons you've learned, and letting your children know that while you may slow down physically, you still have much to contribute will help them see you in a new light. Patience and perspective are qualities that can inspire younger generations, helping them navigate their own challenges with greater clarity and strength. By focusing on what you can still offer, whether it's emotional support, valuable advice, or simply being a calming presence, you demonstrate that aging doesn't mean losing your value. 7. Don't say, "I don't want anyone to take care of me." As we grow older, many of us feel the urge to avoid burdening our children or loved ones with our needs. We may feel that accepting help means we are a source of stress or difficulty, and it's common to say, "I don't want anyone to take care of me." However, rejecting help repeatedly can hurt your relationship with your children. They may feel disconnected, and their desire to help could diminish over time. Children often want to care for their parents as an expression of love. They want to be there for you just as you were there for them when they were younger. By rejecting their offers, you may unintentionally make them feel like their care is unwanted or unnecessary, which may cause them to withdraw from offering support in the future. Instead of pushing their support away, try to accept help, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. By allowing your children to care for you, you are not only making life easier for yourself, but you're also giving them the opportunity to express their love and appreciation. Let them know you value their support, which will foster a sense of connection, trust, and mutual respect. Accepting help is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it's an opportunity to deepen your bond with your children and create a sense of interdependence that strengthens family relationships. Embrace their care and allow them to show their love for you. It will help maintain a healthy, supportive family dynamic as you age. 8. Don't blame them for not showing enough interest in you. As parents age, it's natural to wish for the same level of attention and care that we gave to our children when they were younger. However, as they get older, children are often busy with their own lives, managing careers, families, and personal responsibilities. This can make it difficult for them to check in with us as often as we'd like. When we feel neglected, it can be tempting to blame them, but doing so can create unnecessary guilt and distance, ultimately straining the relationship. Instead of focusing on what they aren't doing, try to understand their situation. Recognize that they, too, are juggling their own challenges. Children often want to help and care for us, but they may have limited time or energy to do so. Understanding this can help you approach the situation with empathy, rather than frustration. Rather than dwelling on what they're not doing, shift your focus to your own happiness. Pursue hobbies, spend time with friends, or explore new interests that will help you stay engaged and fulfilled. This will not only show your children that you are content and independent, but also help alleviate any pressure they may feel. By maintaining a positive outlook and understanding that they have their own lives to manage, you'll create a more relaxed, positive dynamic. Your children will feel reassured knowing that you are emotionally self-sufficient and able to enjoy life on your own terms. This shift will help both you and your children maintain a peaceful and loving relationship. 9. Don't criticize small things as we age. As we get older, it's common to become more attuned to the little things around us. We may notice more clutter, forgotten appointments, or changes in our routines that bother us. While it's natural to feel frustrated by these things, constantly criticizing them can create unnecessary tension and stress, especially for your children. Instead of focusing on imperfections, try approaching these situations with patience and understanding. Everyone has their own habits and routines, and it's important to respect those differences. For instance, if your child forgets to call you or is late for a visit, it's likely not intentional neglect. They may simply be dealing with their own pressures and responsibilities. By letting go of the need for perfection and embracing a more tolerant approach, you create a calmer, more loving atmosphere in your home. Let go of small frustrations and focus on the bigger picture, the love and connection that bind your family together. Acceptance and flexibility are key to maintaining a peaceful relationship with your children. This approach allows both you and your children to feel comfortable and supported, and it fosters a more harmonious environment in your home. 10. Don't overly worry about your health. As we age, it's natural to become more aware of our physical well-being. We may notice new aches or changes in our health, and it's important to stay mindful of these changes in order to maintain a good quality of life. However, constantly voicing concerns about your health can create anxiety for your children. Hearing repeated worries about aging or health problems can make them feel overwhelmed, even if they're doing their best to support you. Rather than fixating on health concerns, try to shift your focus to maintaining a positive attitude and finding joy in life's small pleasures. Whether it's taking a walk, reading a book, or spending time with loved ones, focusing on what you can still do will help you maintain a sense of independence and happiness. Embrace aging with grace and optimism, and share that positive outlook with your children. By doing so, you reassure them that you are taking care of yourself and that you are resilient. Your positive approach to aging will not only benefit your own well-being, but also help your children feel secure in knowing that you are strong and capable. Accepting the natural changes that come with aging and focusing on joy can create an atmosphere of peace for both you and your family. Your calm and optimistic approach will reassure your children, help them feel less worried, and strengthen the bond you share. Conclusion: the impact of aging on family relationships. The way we communicate with our loved ones as we age plays a crucial role in maintaining strong, loving relationships. Through understanding, empathy, and patience, we can continue to contribute positively to our families, even as we experience changes. By focusing on what we can still offer, whether it's wisdom, emotional support, or simply being a positive presence, we strengthen our bonds with those around us. As we embrace aging with grace and positivity, we set an example for the younger generations, teaching them the importance of resilience, independence, and mutual care. Through small adjustments in how we express ourselves and interact with others, we can ensure that our family con